you have taken us to the front page of The Australian now, Mike, tomorrow, because you talk about the confusion, and we've gone to the confusion in messages. And David Penberthy writes on the front page tomorrow, say what you like about Australians stockpiling toilet paper, it makes about as much sense as the press conference Scott Morrison presided over on Friday, where he set something of a record for sending mixed messages to an anxious nation. In a crazy 2 hours in Canberra, the PM's keep calm and carry on message was spectacularly erased by the revelation of poor old Peter Dutton that he has attended federal cabinet meetings while quietly harbouring the coronavirus. Scott, we're sort of in uncharted waters, aren't we? I don't know that the general public pays as much close attention as the rest of us do, as David Penberthy and the three of us on this panel tonight. What do you think about this column tomorrow?
Oh, look, you're quite right, always. We obviously dig deep, far deeper than most people out there in terms of these things. But I think what you're touching on, Jane, is exactly right. In the broader sense, what the public wants to see is leadership in terms of this crisis, clear messaging, and a plan of where we're going. Now, the Prime Minister has done that with the stimulus package. But you saw today, I think, that, granted it's moving very quickly, that some of the messaging wasn't as clear. Whether he was going to go see the Sharkies and then he wasn't going to see them, as Mike just said, you know, whether it's okay to go to a gathering of more than 500 people tonight, but it's not on by Monday. People kind of scratch their heads a bit. You really just want to have the clarity, and the broader public, they don't want to get drilled into the minutia of this. They just want to know what they're supposed to be doing, where the country's going, what the plan is. And as you say, Boris Johnson has his graphs there and showing the crushing down the sombrero there. They really just want to know that we've got a plan. I think they have confidence that Australia has a good medical system. We've got good practices in place. We've got sensible politicians on all sides. Put aside the Twitterati out there and the bizarre, mean, nasty tweets you see from people. I think we've got sensible politicians out there that will get through this, but they just want to see a clear message.
Yeah, they do want to see clear messaging, and hopefully we'll get some of that. Now, we've got the Weekend Australian too, Mike. The front page stories: the War Cabinet to tackle the virus. The pandemic has struck Scott Morrison's inner circle with Peter Dutton. We know all of that. Mr Dutton returned after meeting Ivanka Trump, and he subsequently tested positive. The ban on mass gatherings, and the Prime Minister used the COAG meeting on Friday to announce the formation of the first national cabinet, which would include the Prime Minister as well as state and territory leaders, to assess when and if a ban should be expanded to schools, universities, workplaces, train stations, airports in coming months. Mike, where do you think it's going to go? I won't hold you to it.
Yes, it's interesting the reactions that I see around, Jane. There's a certain amount of bravado about, it's no worse than the flu. I think it is actually worse than the flu in a number of ways from everything that I've read. And I enjoy Mr Penberthy's writing, but he seems to be looking for an absolute position. And I don't really think we can expect that. I think it's a balancing act. The War Cabinet, yes, they're going to have to talk among themselves and see how it develops. The fact is, nobody's too sure where it's going. There's a lot of unhappy prediction out there. I've been reading Dr. Fauci from the US. He's apparently, he's not predicting anything good. We do have to deal with this, do we not? But at the same time, we've got to keep the country going, and we've got to live our lives as best we can.
Yeah, we do. And we just, look, it was extraordinary for me, travelling overseas, going back via Singapore, and they had the message loud and clear. Everyone was really doing the right thing, washing their hands, keeping that so-called social distance. And I'll give Bill Shorten a gold star for his interview with Kieran Gilbert yesterday, and just talking about social distancing and how important that is. And it's just interesting to be in a country where the messaging's really clear. I got back to Australia, back to Western Australia, in a public toilet at the shops. A woman comes out of the toilet, sort of flicks her hands under the water, walks away shaking, and I thought, wow, we haven't got the message here yet.